Look, after a long investigation, after so many people have been so badly hurt, after not looking at the other side, where a lot of bad things happened, a lot of horrible things happened, a lot of very bad things happened for our country. It was just announced there was no collusion with Russia, the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. There was no collusion with Russia. There was no obstruction, and none whatsoever. And it was a complete and total exoneration.
Wow. Now, that's what I called serious business. You know what I'm talking about. Trump says, you know what that means. We just heard a video clip last weekend about the Mueller investigation. Because like I said before, there is no collusion. And you know why it's gonna be it's gonna be outrageous whatsoever. So put this in writing for you. Trump is right. There's no collusion. Yeah, of course. But what if I told you that yes, that was good news. So here's my observation for everyone, because Maxine Waters, what have I told you? Maxine Waters says that oh boy, complaining about this president as a way of trying to get into people's hearings, people's heads. Well, guess what? Heads. Here's what Maxine Waters said to, you guessed it. You guessed it. That's right. On MSNBC's AM Joy last weekend. And here's your worst nightmare. Take a look and listen to this.
And you have Donald Trump supporters, including his former UN ambassador, Nikki Haley, out there tweeting and saying, essentially presuming that the president has been exonerated by the report. And in Nikki Haley's case, saying that it's been completed and everyone should just move on. It's a curious position to take since we don't know what's in the report. But do you see colleagues on the other side of the aisle sort of declaring this whole thing at an end and wanting no further inquiry? I know that the House has something like 80 subpoenas still out.
Here's Max. Listen to this. Maxie Waters wants to botch up a lie. Should we say, you wish. Listen to this.
Absolutely. Well, I want to tell you that this president has a way of trying to get into people's heads and indoctrinate them. He's been saying no collusion, no collusion, no collusion over and over again for a long time now. And he's going to try and conclude that this report is proving that there's no collusion.
The conclusion is you, Maxine Waters. The conclusion is you. You try to botch this thing up. You try to impeach Trump like this? But guess what? Did you hear what Trump said? No collusion. And you, Maxine Waters, try to iterate your problems? Maxine Waters, you got a problem. Up in here. Inside your water brain. For now. Oh, gosh. You know, Maxine Waters is a yeah. But what about CNN's commentator, you guessed it, Carl Bernstein, calls the media, oh Lord, of Mueller investigation? Put this in writing for anyone else can be civilized. I must believe that whatever happens to this whole subject of colluding this kind of a you-know-who. Listen to this from CNN, the liberals' reliable sources, and see what the problem really means.
Carl, I gotta admit, I'm getting a little bit impatient. The waiting game is frustrating for a lot of viewers at home as well. When you look at the media coverage of the past 2 years, has the media's reputation been helped or hurt? buy the combination of news and speculation.
Oh,
You have to
shut
look
up.
at the larger context of the cold civil war that's going on in this country and
Cold
the division
Civil
in the
War.
country. And clearly, half of the
Cold
country,
Civil-
40%, 45%
Civil War.
of the most intense Trump supporters would say that we have been terrible. And then I think the rest of probably of the majority would say we've done a really good job. And I think we've done, the media, the press has done one of the great reporting jobs in the history, especially of covering a presidency by the most news organizations. And look, let's look at where the disinformation and mistakes and lying have come from. Hasn't come from the press.
Stop. I reject this. What disinformation, Carl? What disinformation, Mr. Bernstein? That you don't really get. As far as we're concerned. You don't even listen, do you? You see, many outlets, including CNN or Liberal or MSNBC or whatever happens, eagerly to wait to this whole release. And it will assume, bad news. It's not bad news. You got it all wrong. Completely. Especially Brian Stelter has no objection whatsoever. You try to dismantle, and guess what? All of you liberal media bias, retro people, buffoon smurfs, try to dismiss the notion as far as we concerned. Scram. Dismiss the notion? Why do I ever? Okay. You are so out of touch. Did you, Carl? Okay. And what about Michael? What about this? For a change, NBC News host try to bias this, posting this, all this bias. So you just had to trust me about that as well. So, because everything else can be civilized about this one. Now, today's, you see this today's host, you guessed it, Savannah Guthrie, taking the heat, following her, yesterday's interview with White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And listen to this from, you guessed it, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. It could be civilized about this one. Listen to this.
We're joined now by White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Sarah, good morning. Good to be with you. Well, the president seems downright elated, maybe even relieved. He said America is a great country at the White House yesterday. He's in a position now to publicly support, maybe even authorize the release of this underlying Mueller report. Will he do so?
I think that the president is doing exactly what he should, and that's leaving that decision into the hands of the Attorney General, and we'll see what decision he makes on that front.
Well, last week he said, let it come out. And of course, there was a bipartisan vote in the House to release publicly the Mueller report itself. So he's already on the record. So does he or does he not support the public release of this?
Savannah. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is right. President Trump has doing exactly what he's going to do. And that is no collusion. Anyone else can be civilized. And you don't even listen, do you? Savannah Guthrie. I'm gonna tell you this. This is gonna be the worst thing I ever heard in my entire life. The whole subject. The media has no objection whatsoever. And finally, Kellyanne Conway. Thank God. Kellyanne Conway blasted Adam Schiff in the face. And you know why? Because it's a horrible thing to do about this one. Take a look at it. Listen closely from Fox News. You guessed it. Kellyanne Conway has some taste of this
We'll bring in
medicine.
Kellyanne Conway, counselor to the president. Kellyanne, Brett was just talking about the James Comey tweet. This, for the folks who do not follow you on Twitter, you tweeted this out yesterday. Congratulations, President Donald Trump. Today you won the 2016 election all over again. You got a gift for the 2020 election. They'll never get you because they never get you. you wrote.
I did. And those who let this lie fly for 2 years, haranguing and harassing and trying to embarrass and worse those of us connected to the 2016 campaign, beginning with the president and his own family, really do owe America an apology. But more importantly, they never legitimized him as president because they never saw it coming. And those who have now spent 22 months wasting their time, really 2.5 years since the day he was elected, are now running out of time for 2020. They've made Donald Trump look like the victim here because he has been the victim here. And let me be very specific about certain individuals. The head of the Democratic National Committee, Tom Perez, and let me quote him. He said repeatedly that there is, quote, mountain of evidence of collusion between the campaign and the Russians. This is a man whose own DNC, along with Hillary Clinton's campaign, first funded that phony dossier that got us to where we are.
Yeah.
Then you have Adam Schiff. Talk about an oxymoron. This man
I
heads the
told you.
Intelligence Committee in the House. He said, quote, he believed that the scandal was of a size and a scope probably bigger than Watergate and that there's plenty of evidence of collusion. He ought to resign today. He's been on every TV show 50 times a day for practically the last 2 years, promising Americans that this president would either be impeached.
See, I told you, Kellyanne Conway is right. You, Adam Schiff, you had to resign. I'm talking to you on camera. You had to resign until you die. Because what? If you don't resign, because we, us conservatives, can trash you first. Now, all you liberal media, bias, pressure, people, buffoon, smirks are just full of mush. And all of you crybabies, especially you, Maxine Waters, you want to reiterate this? Or you, Carl Bernstein, try to reiterate this? President Trump is right. There is no collusion. For now. If you don't want to hear a word I just said, guess what? LH Music, America's lovable fuzzball, Christian conservative talk radio and television show host, is going to trash you good. Now, do we have it straight? For once? Like I said, there is no collusion whatsoever. Stop the nonsense and get with the program. Enough is enough. But you know, the moral of my political life video blog story is this. Every other thing is there is no collusion. President Trump is right. And all of you liberal media, bias, pressure, people, buffoons, smurfs are wrong. All of you should be ashamed of yourselves. Especially you, Maxine Waters. That goes for you too, Brian Stelzer and Savannah Guthrie and Adam Schiff and, that's right, Carl Bernstein. And you owe President Trump an apology from now on. And by the way, doesn't anybody tell all of you liberals and Democrat idiots not to mess with President Trump ever again? Like I said in this Tootsie Roll Center inside this Tootsie Roll Pop commercial, the whole world would never know. And that's my political life video blog story. And I'm sticking to it.